Good morning, everybody. Today I want to try to just jump right in and teach you the basics of overhand or clawhammer style banjo playing. This is if you have no experience before, or even if you do, great refresher. I have mentioned in other videos that I think the two-finger picking style is the easiest and most intuitive way for a beginner to begin playing the five-string banjo. So if you haven't seen my video on that, take a look at that. I think the title is Basic Introduction to Two-Finger Thumb Lead Picking. It's also known as thumb lead because you tend to lead off each piece with your thumb. But so let's say you've either already got that down or you're not interested in learning that and you want to learn the overhand style. Now they call it overhand because you're playing overhanded. Okay? In a lot of the early banjo manuals, which unfortunately were put out by the black-faced minstrels, they referred to it as the stroke style. You know, you're stroking. But a term that was very common, probably just as common or more common historically, was overhand. And I will get into at some point why I don't use the term clawhammer, why I find that term problematic. And I have moved away from it, and I do encourage others to move away from that term. But it's not a big deal, and we're not going to waste any more time on it here. In the future, we'll have to discuss that. But anyhow, let's jump right into it. So, if you've started learning clawhammer or whatever, try to put all that out of your mind, and let's just go as if we know nothing. And this is the very first time, okay? So how do you tune your banjo? The standard tuning is either known as standard or G tuning. I find the term G tuning to be problematic because I don't tune to G. I know because I have this handy tuner that I usually tune a half or a full, what's known as a step, a half or a full step below standard G tuning. I'm actually usually in F. So instead of open G, I'm in open F. But don't let that confuse you because everything's the same as far as the human ear and your hands are concerned. So normally that would be G, D, G, B, D. But I'm actually in F, so my two G strings, I have run them down even further to where they're Fs. And then you relative tune your other strings so that they are aligned with that. So my actual tuning, if you want to tune right where I'm at, and be exactly where I'm at, F, C, F, A, C. Same thing as standard open G tuning, but we're actually in open F. But anyhow, so that's the banjo is tuned now. So how do you hold your left hand? You just take it and grab it like a broomstick, just hold it something like that any way that's comfortable. Later on down the road, if you get into more fancy finger patterns up here or shapes, you're going to do more of like the classical guitar player's grip. And you're going to hold your thumb on the back there and be able to reach and do things down here. You're going to find your thumb hold on the back of it because you can't really do that with the classic broomstick hold. But for now, 99% of what we're all doing, even me, and I've been playing for 20 years now, I just hold the darn thing like a broom or an axe handle or something, Just hold it where it's comfortable, okay? So that's that. And 90% of the music that you make, you're only going to be using one finger on your left hand, because the beautiful thing about the banjo is we quickly and easily, when we get good at it, change the tuning up here. And so you're not making a lot of chords usually. You can do that, but I'm not going to teach you that way. I'm going to teach you the open tunings, and where you're only noting one, maybe two fingers at a time, but usually just one finger to get different, That's all one finger at a time, So that's your left hand. Let's forget about that for now. The hard stuff when you're learning overhand is this right hand, And you're going to, curl your fingers a little bit and have your thumb extended out, kind of like you're hitchhiking. You're kind of doing this number. That's how you hold your hand on this banjo. And the way it was described to me, and I'm explaining it to you guys the same way, The fifth string, you can also call it the thumb string. That's your thumb's home. Your thumb lives there. You'll notice that every time I play anything, my thumb wants to go home. It wants to stay home if it can. So kind of like me. But so I hold that thumb is always resting there. So that's a good way to start. So relaxly, calmly, coolly, curl your fingers a little bit, extend your thumb, keeping everything as relaxed as you can, and lay your thumb on that fifth string. Take the back of your index, your fingernail, the back of your fingernail, and curl your fingers so that it easily rests on that first string down there. That's the basic position where you're going to start and rest in between stuff here. And these other fingers are just kind of up, in there off the string. So my index finger's resting on the back of the first string, and my thumb rests on that fifth string. You notice everything I do, my thumb always goes home. And that's just from many years and many thousands of hours of playing. I've built up that muscle memory. So that's what you're aiming for. You want your hand to be kind of like mine. And the main picking finger, it's best to use the back of your index finger. A lot of people prefer to use the back of their middle finger, and I'm not going to stop you or discourage you from doing that. I want you to do what's ever the most comfortable for you that's going to keep you playing, right? Okay. So what's the rhythm? That's it. People like to call it the bum ditty stroke or bump ditty. Well, I like to think of it as a jigadoon or a jigaboom or a chickaboom, because I like to do it. It's more intuitive to teach you guys this way. So take all four of these fingers, and you got them in a curl, right? And remember, your thumb lives on the fifth string. So keeping your thumb at home on the fifth string, take the back of these four fingers and brush. I call that a brush. Brush all the strings. You can start on the fourth string and brush down. Don't worry about brushing this little fifth string. It's not to be trifled with at this point. So starting with your index finger, starting on that fat fourth string, with your thumb always staying home, use all your four extra fingers to brush from the bass to the first. And as you complete your brush, play it so that each finger slides off that first string and wraps that banjo head, slaps on that banjo head. That's one thing too, it was hard for me to pick up. Like if you're playing guitar, you're playing across the strings, you're brushing with your pick or something, you're playing or you're picking out individual notes sort of across this plane, you're brushing and strumming. With the banjo, get that out of your head. The action is this. You're going, perpendicular to this plane. You're playing like this. This is a drum. So every string you hit, and you'll notice the wear pattern on my banjo and other people's banjos, you can see the wear marks in between, because every string that I hit, I'm not going across it and getting a weak sound, I'm playing into the drum head. Every time my finger is sliding off, hitting the drum head. So let's get back to that brush we were talking about. Your thumb goes home, close up to the rim as you can. Starting with your index finger on the bass string, brush all those strings with your fingers and have your that's the basic brush, the strum on the banjo. The next step to get this rhythm, just bring your thumb off. Remember, your thumb is already home. Don't play like this and then take your thumb up there and hit it. That's not the way to do it. Your thumb stays home. This is very vital if you're going to actually get a cyclical rhythm going that you can sing to and that other humans can dance to. Your thumb has to stay home on this thumb string, this drone string. It's often compared to the pipes on a bagpipe, how there's always that extra pipe that's always just going meh in the background. That's this thing. So take your brush, You brushed all the strings with all your extra fingers. Your thumb is already there. Just pull it off, it just comes off. That's it. That's all the filler stuff that's behind the actual melody. We haven't even got to the actual music yet. This is your rhythm. You throw in the melody. Let's say if I wanted to play this melody. Well, I would play. That's it. That is basically it. And so, like, you know, people will describe it as you have to do an arrest and then your follow through. I find that it's actually easier, and none of this is going to be easy, but I find that it's easier for new players to brush first and come off with the thumb and then find your melody note. Okay guys, that's about all the time I can spend on this right now. Let me know if that was helpful to you. If you want more real basic stuff like that, we can go over it again, but it's basically up to you now to practice and repeat that. Till you get a rhythm. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Take care.